And he cursed them for what they were doing. But at Christmas time, we only hear about the lamb. We never hear about the lion. He cursed them. And he turned over their tables. And he chased them out of the temple. And he said, "You've taken the house of God and transformed it into a den of thieves." They were using gold and silver coins as money. But who remembers that today, even in Greece? And the money changers were changing Roman golden coins for temple golden coins. And it was not an equal exchange. The Roman golden coins had a graven image on them, and that was prohibited. But if you want to change gold for gold, money for money, it must be equal. Otherwise, you're lending money on interest. It's usury, prohibited by the Lord God. And so they took gold and silver out of the market, that part of the Christian world. And they prohibited the use of gold as money in the same way that they prohibited the name Constantinople to be used. And they replaced gold and silver with their bogus and fraudulent and sinful paper and plastic and electronic money. And they've been using that bogus money to rip off the rest of the world and to reduce the rest of mankind to poverty and to destitution and to enslave them. It's not just that they want to be rich, it's far worse than that. They want to use money being lent on interest and money being ripped off people through a bogus monetary system so that they could rule the world. And so that the Antichrist can then stand up in Jerusalem and declare, "I am the Messiah." We understand it perfectly well in Islamic eschatology. That's one part of the Christian world. He said that in the end time women will be dressed and yet naked. It's there that we see all the nakedness. He said that women will dress like men, and therefore pursuing an agenda of seeking to assume the functional role of men in society. This aggressive feminist revolution is coming from them, not from the rest of the Christian world. He said, who said? Our prophet. He said that men will dress like women in the end time. That does not mean that we have to look for a man wearing skirts. No. What it implies is that men will abandon their functional role as men in society. They will be emasculated. Where is that today? It's coming from them, that part of the Christian world. So we say that the town was Jerusalem. The Lord God destroyed Jerusalem. He expelled the Jews. He placed a ban on them that they could never return to Jerusalem for 2,000 years. They could not do it. Until Gog and Magog were released. And after they were released, their armies spread out all over the world, including India, and took control of the world. And then these people were brought back to Jerusalem. And so it is as plain as daylight, although we're not seeing the sun today in Leeds, that Gog and Magog are there. Gog and Magog are located in modern Western civilization, and it is Islamic eschatology which is declaring that. And praise is due to God. The Quran goes on to tell us something more about those Christians and those Jews, warning us about them, that they will never be content unless they get you to follow their way of life. So if our way of life is to wear the beard, you know the Lord God put the beard on the face of the male for two reasons. Don't you know that? You know that, don't you? The first reason is to distinguish between the male and the female. You don't have to look to any other part of the body. But what's the second reason? Huh? So babies can play with it. They say no. They say no. A clean-shaven man, this is hygienic better. And so they shave off the beard. And we want to dress with our ethnic clothing. We dress in a way which conforms with our sacred mission in the world and our religious obligations. That's how we dress. And they say, no, if you want to be civilized, if you want to succeed in the world, if you want to get promotion in your job, if you want to succeed in your studies and so on, you've got to dress the way we dress. And so one Sunday morning, very mysteriously, it happened. You saw the first blue jeans. And it's a statement of fashion now. And then something even more sinister happened, and you thought, oh my gosh, today the sky is going to fall down. You saw a girl dressed in blue jeans. You never saw it before. And then your father and your mother dressed in blue jeans. And when grandpa also, and grandma in blue jeans. And how come the priest is also wearing a blue jeans? And the pundit and the imam is wearing a blue jeans. The world is coming to an end. Everybody dressed the same way. You know, when, excuse me for saying so, because you know, people have, Professor Marius will tell you, the attention span is growing smaller and smaller, so they can't remember, you know. But when Jesus comes back, and you offer him, invite him for a meal, guess what's the first thing that he'll do? That we don't do it anymore. It doesn't matter whether you're Christian, you're Jew, you're Hindu, you're Buddhist, everything. We've all forgotten it. The first thing that Jesus will do would be to wash his hands. Well, why do we have to wash our hands when we got cutlery? We're not touching the food. It's unhygienic to touch food with your hands. Don't you know that, Imran? That was in the age of barbarism. We are now a civilized people. And civilized people don't eat with their hands, Imran. Yeah. So now if it's a curry fish and rice, and I want to wash my hands and use my hands to eat, I'm now uncivilized.